Welcome to the desk of the Executive Director. We are not at the desk, but we are here in our mission house. And I'm sitting here with Jordan from Allentown, Pennsylvania, who is a mission camper here for this week. And I'm just going to be asking her a few questions. And I think she has quite the story, and I haven't gotten much of it because you've been out doing stuff and I've been in my office doing my stuff. But I want to ask you first of all, so you're a PK, a pastor's kid. You grew up in the church and you're still committed to the United Church of Christ and to kind of the culture and kind of who and what we are, our values. Do you want to explain a little bit about that? How do you see the United Church of Christ, especially for you as a young adult?
Well, to me, it's kind of a lifestyle. Actually, most people go to church on Sundays, hopefully practice what they preach, learn during those Sundays. But for me, being a pastor's kid, it was our life. It was instilled into us every day as opposed to just on Sundays. So just loving people and including everybody was the only way that I've ever known. And so I'm super blessed for that. And obviously I've integrated that into my daily life still as it is. I'm a nurse, so I serve people day to day like that. I volunteer at an after school program after work for inner city kids. So again, I just love to care, love to give. I live to serve, absolutely. So yeah, the United Church of Christ is just a way of life for me.
It's really interesting you say that. I've never honestly heard anybody say the United Church of Christ is a way of life. But in many ways, I guess the folks, when I was a pastor back in Phoenix and Minneapolis in UCC churches, it is unique in that it is a way of life and it informs how you live and walk in the world. Because you live and walk in a way that is about equity and justice, and you look through the lens of equity and justice, or you look at the world through the lens of... So maybe, in a sense, because I think we often have a very different viewpoint of Jesus, where Jesus isn't the one who died on the cross for our sins, but rather Jesus kind of shows us how to live, shows us the way to live, and so we look at the world through the lens of maybe Jesus' eyes, right? Because he hung out with individuals that were considered marginalized by his culture, were considered untouchable, were considered people that would not be church folks. Maybe the Pharisees, Sadducees, religious leaders like myself would have looked down upon. So I've never heard that before. That's really interesting. Thank you for putting that in my head. A way of life. I'm gonna play with that. So what's really significant for you being down here in Biloxi?
I think it's everything. Like I said, I've been on a lot of mission trips. This is my first one with my dad. So we're at a work camp, and it's with a lot of new members of our church. And over the last couple of years, I don't want to say too busy, because never too busy for church, but haven't spent as much time in the church building as I would have liked. And a lot of the members here are relatively new. Thank God for a growing church. But it's really nice to connect with these new people and just learn everybody's skills and everybody's stories and where everybody's come from in life, and just connect down here. And I've never been down south really either. So it's also just a very different way of life and different needs down here. But definitely learning some things to take back and try to implement back there.
Well, interesting you say that, because having been somebody who was born in northern Mississippi, moved to Chicago, and then coming back here, been here 2 years, sometimes I think I miss what may be unique, because you become such a part of a system, a culture, right, when you move. And like here, it's definitely, there's a more genteel kindness to people here.
Absolutely.
It's a bit different than other places I've lived. And I don't think it's because we're a smaller community. I think it's because it's kind of instilled as a way of life.
It's the culture, absolutely.
Yeah, the culture. So what have you been working on? What have you been doing since you've been here?
So we finished up the Rebecca house. So we did some interior painting and just some organizing, general house cleaning, that sort of thing, to put the finishing touches on that.
Thank you.
It was wonderful, thank you. And then we spent the last 2 days painting the exterior of a home. And some of our men with some plumbing experience were inside finishing 2 of the bathrooms. Yeah, so that...
The home on Lee Street?
Yes.
Yeah.
So maybe not be finished today, not sure. And then this morning I did spend time a little bit in the Micah Center early, and then came out and helped with Fishes and Loaves, which was really nice. Really nice to be able to actually interact with the community and the people that we're serving, whereas, in the homes, we're doing the work, but not really seeing who we're helping. So it was really
Right.
nice to be able to talk and work with these people.
That's
Connect.
awesome.
We're not as different as we may think.
Yeah. So I like to ask this question. I'm going to ask you. I don't ask this too often because, like, people are somewhat, they don't quite know how to respond. I think you're a good responder. So what would you say in general, Jordan, is your worldview? What's your worldview?
I think I look through a lens of love in every sense of the word. People, the earth, just life in general. People may say I'm a little radical. I think other people think I'm a little radical, but just.
What's your radical end of things? How do they see you as radical?
I'm very, very leftist. Just very for just radical justice and radical kindness and love and just equity and everything all around.
And I wish that didn't have to sound like
Right.
radical or leftist. I wish it
Right.
could just be human, right?
Right, exactly.
Is to like have radical equity and radical justice and radical love and radical peace.
Yeah,
I mean, isn't that should be humanity
you would think. You would hope.
all over the globe?
Correct. But unfortunately, it's not the case in a lot of places,
Yeah.
especially where I'm from. There's and definitely stick out a little bit.
Well, and in our culture, in our world right now, well, we all know, we talk about it all the time, the polarization, right?
Yeah, very individualistic. I feel like, especially
Yeah.
next week we're going to Liberia, which is completely opposite. It's entirely community based, and
Yeah.
If not one person thrives, the community thrives, and that's how it should be. We should
Yeah.
look after our neighbors. It's
Yeah.
literally in the Bible,
Right.
love your neighbor, but
Right.
we seem to overlook a couple of those verses.
And I used to think about that a lot. I did campus ministry when I graduated from seminary, and it was all about taking students on these type of trips to third world places in our country, third world places overseas, have them serve, to experience poverty, experience something different, so that it broadened their worldview, right, their horizon, understand what's out in the world. And I think, like you're saying, it's kind of like loving your neighbor is a foundational principle in every world religion. And it's strange that that's foundational for all the Abrahamic religions and world religions in general, but yet I don't know why does it cause such divide? Why do Christians say, well, we don't like Muslims, or we don't like Jews, or we don't like Mormons, or we don't like X, Y, or Z, right? Or Baptists don't like Lutherans, because we're all isolated, but yet that divine principle of loving yourself and loving others and loving God, that's it. When they ask Jesus, what's the greatest commandment? Well, here it is.
Have you ever heard of the elephant theory?
No.
So it's my own personal belief. I've heard it. I read it in a book, I think, originally, but just that all world religions are looking at an elephant. So Christianity is looking at the trunk, and so we're basing our entire religion around the trunk of the elephant. And Buddhism's looking at the tail, and Hinduism is looking at a foot of the elephant. And we're all looking and talking about the same thing, but based on our perspective, we word it and view it just slightly differently. We're all talking about the same principles of just being a better person and just making the world a better place, and just this divine source that's guiding us, and we're all looking at the same kind of thing, and that's so different.
It's really interesting because I did a lot of interfaith work back in Phoenix with my community, and we'd go to mosques and we'd go to synagogues and we'd worship with them, and then the imam or the rabbi would sit down and talk with us, about what we experienced, or the pillars of the Islam faith, right? Or the Torah and how they understand the journey of the people of the Hebrew people and how different it is. We think about Older Testament, Newer Testament. And I found out there were so many things that were so similar, but yet if you wanted to find something to nitpick, to look at the foot, the tail, the trunk, and to say, don't like you because you do this or you say that, right? Or this is the way you live, you could find it.
Right. You're always going to find what you're looking for.
Yeah.
But if you break it down, if you break every religion down to its
Right.
bare bones, just
Right.
be better.
Yeah.
Just love.
Be better in love. And if you want to come
Yeah.
down, and equity and justice, very honestly, that's in every
Absolutely.
world religion.
Absolutely.
And it's strange how skewed or how we look at those religions and say, well, because you're doing it differently, it's not right.
Right.
You know, because you don't do it my way, you're not right. And we do that within Christianity. I mean, my goodness,
Absolutely.
there's over 4,000 Protestant denominations alone who all have something different, you know. It's like, sorry, you got to use whole wheat bread instead of rye bread for communion, or eat grape juice instead of wine, or say these words instead of those words, right? And so I think that's a really good point, and that's what I've loved about the United Church of Christ, is that we embrace it all. In the congregation I had in Phoenix, I had atheists and agnostics and, you know, Mormons and all sorts of people that had joined that church that came from various backgrounds. And we didn't say you need to get rid of all that. We said, just come and join us, right? And you express and understand the Creator God the way you understand. We don't even have to use God. We don't have to call God him. We can call God her. We can call God she. And we just
Whatever
call
we
God
want.
God, Allah, whatever, you know? It doesn't matter, right? Because you're right. We're looking toward that same divine point to get our energy and to reconnect with Creator and reconnect with the world. So what message would you like to give the good people that are watching us today with your radicalness and your tattoos? I got to get more. I'm really slow on my tattoos, but I'm getting there.
Yeah.
I appreciate yours.
Oh, absolutely. I think just love. I think I sound like a broken record, but I sound like a broken record all day if that's what I'm going to talk about. But just love yourself, love your neighbor, love your community, love your God, love what you do, love your life. I have this tattoo, actually. This is what this is for. It's just a reminder to shoot love at everybody. If somebody's
my
a little
gosh.
mean to you in the grocery store, they need a little bit more love. Somebody cuts you off in traffic, instead of getting upset, just shoot them a little love, just to everybody. 'Cause
Instead of shooting them the middle finger, right? Shoot them some love.
the world needs a little more love.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, what the world needs now is love, 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 right? I think that's a couple of songs, isn't it, that we've heard? I don't know who's saying that. It's the Beatles? Somebody. All you need is love.
All you need is love.
Oh, that's really true, and that is true in this day and age. So thank you for sharing that, and that's way
Thank
cool
you.
that you came with new members, and that they're getting a chance to kind of experience, like, developing deeper relationship with each other, right? And developing a deeper relationship to being a servant and to the divine, however they understand God. That's way cool.
Yeah, and we have some that are new to the United Church of Christ as well, so it's awesome for them to really see that we practice what we preach and what we really do, and that the people that we serve. And,
Huh.
yeah,
That's cool. It's
it's
awesome.
wonderful.
You know, I think it's beautiful. Just keep encouraging people with love, and be filled with love. You know, and when we find it hard to love, I guess it's time to kind of dig down deep, right?
Absolutely.
Recognize our humanity, recognize our divinity, and find that place of love. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks, for joining us today.